Hi, I'm Eddie Phillips, and I'm on Two Plain Guys.
So yeah, welcome back. Two Plain Guys. I'm Rick Buffkin.
I'm Adam Beach.
And today we got Eddie Phillips with us. Well-known photographer, skydiver, man of many trades, maybe a little daredevilish, motorcycle guy, but from out in Middle Tennessee. So thanks for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, Eddie, you were just talking about a story. You were telling us a little bit about some of your photography and how you like where you find inspiration from and things like that. I know you've got a long list here of accomplishments, being an internationally published photographer, not just in the aviation space, but a lot of motorsports and motorcycle racing, skydiving, a lot of different things, Sons of Speed. Right. You're very, involved with that group, the Beechcraft Heritage Museum, which was where we met down in Tullahoma, Tennessee, and all sorts of things in between. You've got an amazing story, and we're happy you're here with us today.
I'm glad to be here. And so tell us about how tell us about Eddie, who's, I know you said you were a dental hygienist, and we spent some time with you, a dental technician, just kind of lead us into how you got to photographing airplanes and jumping out of them.
Well, I was a dental technician for 38 years. I started doing that. It happened about the same time I started skydiving. We had our meetings inside the dental lab, and I was looking around at all the teeth, and I'm like, what are y'all doing here, And he said, hey, do you need a job? And I'm like, yeah, my mom's pressured me to get to work. I was about 10th grade, I guess, in high school, and he needed a pickup delivery guy. So I actually did my first skydive. I was the youngest one in the United States at the time. I was 16 when I made my first jump. Didn't have my driver's license yet. So I did that jump, ended up getting my driver's license, got a job.
How high was your first jump?
I think we was like 2,500 feet with static line, like military. Okay. And it was very windy. I probably weighed like 110 pounds, soaking wet. My mom was scared to death. And
she probably wondered what you were doing.
So I went out the little plane. The next guy went out, and he was going down and I was facing into the wind. I was doing everything right, and I was just drifting and drifting.
Yeah.
Like a mile and a half away on top of a tree.
You landed at the top of the tree?
Yeah. So that was my first jump.
How long were you in the canopy?
I don't know. It's round parachutes at the tongue.
Okay.
So I'm coming up, I guess, on my 50th anniversary of that.
And the round ones, pretty much, you were on the wind. They weren't steerable like the ones they got now, right?
Right. Well, you could a little bit, but it wasn't much.
How many jumps you got under your belt?
Over 800. I'm not really sure.
What's your highest jump?
15,000 is 14.5.
Okay. So this is a question that I have always had. So 15,000 feet, that's going to give you realistically how much time in the air?
Free fall, about a minute.
A minute. That's about it. 15,000.
How long is that under canopy?
It's according on canopy size. I jumped larger canopies, so it took a while.
So you like to float down?
Yeah.
And as it would happen, you told me an interesting fact. You like to jump out of airplanes. You do aerial photography. And you're in the air a lot. You're afraid of heights.
I'm terrified.
Like that's how it goes typically, right? Like the guys that are like find this career where they're up in the sky all the time, or high elevations. They're like, I'm definitely afraid of heights.
Right.
Like, how did you ever get into something like this?
Yeah, I don't know. It's when I first saw the first parachute, me and my buddies was popping wheelies, on their bicycles, and we saw the parachutes coming down and went over, and I'm like, I want to do this, They kind of laughed. They said, how old are you? And I was like 15 at the time. He said, no. And I kept going, and he said, well, you can get special papers and get them notarized. And so I bugged my parents to death till they signed it. And
How did that conversation go? Tell me about that. Yeah. Hey, mom and dad, mama, go jump out of an airplane.
My mom would not go for that for sure. Like I told her, I bought a motorcycle once and she was not happy with that.
Oh yeah, I didn't ride the motorcycle. I can, yeah.
I can't imagine asking her if I could, sign this piece of paper so I could jump on an airplane.
They finally agreed to it. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Did it take some convincing on your behalf, or they're just like, yeah, they're like, yeah, do whatever?
Yeah. I probably made them pretty miserable.
Yeah.
Did they go watch your first jump?
My dad actually had just had back surgery, so he couldn't come. And my mom went, and she was pretty nervous about it.
I bet she was. I bet she was. Yeah, we were talking about this, and I know that the jump community, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but the skydiving community, that's a pretty tight knit group of people. Like we're all a fam. You know people from other states, you know people all over the country, probably all over the world that do this. Do y'all get together occasionally and just have like, a get together and everybody jumps?
Yeah. It's like this coming up this year. We had a pretty rough year last year, but we got several big jumps coming up. We call them boogies. And we got a special one for our buddy Justin that we just lost. And so that's coming up this year.
So you jump mostly in the Tullahoma, Tennessee area, or do you will?
Well, I don't jump anymore at all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I quit probably 20-something years ago.
Yeah. But anybody that follows you on like your social media pages or Instagram, they're going to see a lot of photography of skydiving, as well as, aviation photography, motorcycles, landscapes, things like that.
I feel more connected to skydiving than when I was skydiving.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you'll go up with the jumpers and you'll be in the plane, catch them coming out. But a lot of the photography is them coming down.
Yeah. I'm on the ground a lot. I do the swoop comps where they do different competitions. I capture those. Also, I will put on the rig and hang out the door and shoot.
Hang out the door with no parachute on?
No, with a parachute.
Okay, all right.
Just in case.
So just
you still know how to do it if you have to, but you'll try to do it. Yeah, I guess. What's a memorable, like the most memorable event that you can think of, in the skydiving photography, world there? What's something that's happened that just sticks out in your mind every time, the story you want to tell everybody?
Shooting the nationals is pretty cool. All the top skydivers know around.
And where was that at?
I've shot it in Skydive Arizona and Skydive Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I do kind of know one thing. A guy who's afraid of heights will strap himself and hang out the side of an airplane. How do you even make yourself do that without?
It's, I asked my therapist about that, but it's kind of like.
Well, that makes sense. You've got a therapist you're talking to, Motter.
In the airplane, you're not connected to anything. So your mind, it tricks your mind.
Yeah.
So it's a lot different now.
Yeah, but I could just see the ground down there and I'm way off of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I'm on the ladder, climbing up on the roof, I'm kind of like holding on, taking.
So this I can relate to. I can definitely relate to this because, we're in the air all the time. We're flying everywhere, every single week. Mm-hmm. And I don't have any issues with that.
I don't mind looking out the window.
Being in a plane, flying, if you're
sitting in the chair.
But I bet like on an elevated space where you I took my kids to the Grand Canyon a few years back and out of the Grand Canyon, they'll let you walk right up to the edge and look over, right? There's people sitting their children there so they can stay. I was like, you guys are crazy. But just getting like that where there's like no restriction there and I don't feel safe doing that. But I can be flying, no problem. So I kind of get that.
It's like shooting the base jumpers, the bridge is one thing, but if you're on land, it's all I can do to get to the edge. It's just like I sweat and I'm wanting to sit down, So
gets a little nerve wracking.
Yeah.
I'm weak. It's funny. I was young, grew up on farm, messing with farm. I climb the silos and sit up there, up in top silos. But now, yeah, I don't mind the airplane, but I don't mind. if it's higher than the higher the tail of the
We're
airplane,
under death now than we were when we were
get a little antsy. I don't do heights.
You was talking about remembering stuff, the flight that we did. I'll never forget that.
I won't forget that either. Yeah, tell us a little bit about that. That was a fun story.
We did the, what was it, Beach Bunny.
The beach bunny.
Yeah.
At the beach party.
Like the beach 18, right?
Yeah, beach 18.
And so we did our photo shoot, and I remember Adam saying, "Do you always get that close?"
Now you guys are in the beach bun, or you guys are flying?
Yeah.
I was in Michael Turner's, we call it the Photo Nanza,
Oh, okay.
and he was in the Beach Bunny.
Yeah. Shout out Mike Turner. That was a fun day, and I'll tell you how that actually went down for me. I was out there at the beach party, my first time ever being there. That's in Tullahoma, Tennessee, every fall. Everybody should definitely try and go to that if you can. But the beach party is really just a collaboration of aviators and pilots and airplanes, and you see all kinds of cool stuff. Lots of stagger wings out there.
The classic beach trip.
Beach 18s. There's a Starship that flew in there this year. First time I'd ever seen one of those. I think there's only a few of those operational today.
See the Twin Bananas?
Was there a Twin Bonanza out there this year?
There's a few.
There was a few out there.
Yeah, this one.
It's basically like this small town fly-in, but the Parrish family at the Beach Heritage Museum, they do a fantastic job putting the show up. And Charles is so gracious, and he does a great job with it. He's been doing it for, I think, over 50 years. But it's just these people who come out there and they want to show off their stuff. And the Beach Bunny was kind of under restoration while we were there, and you guys were planning to do a photo shoot.
Yeah. When I asked him to do it, he's like, "It's not all the way polished yet." And I'm like, "I don't care. It's
Right. It looked great.
Yeah.
And so just as we were doing, everybody's just kind of chatting and getting to know each other. And somebody said, "Hey, we're going to go flying." I said, got a seat for one more. Right. That's kind of like, kind of trying to get in. They're like, "Yeah, come along. That'd be great." I was blown away. I've never flown Beach 18. I've never flown in a radial engine aircraft ever. Yeah. And, it was something that I will never forget. But I will say this: when we were up in the air, everything. I mean, it was a plane I'd never been in before. I just met these folks, even though they, super professional. I felt safe, everything like that. But when you guys we were up flying, and that Mike Turner's Photo Nanza came in, and I'm like, "Okay, I see him out the window there. That looks pretty good." Y'all kept getting closer and closer and closely pulled. The next thing I know, you were like 30 feet off of our wing, and that got me a little bit nervous. That got me a little bit nervous because I'd never been that close to another airplane while flying before. And so much respect to those guys that do air shows, the Blue Angels, and those guys are like inches away from each other. Yeah. And some of the pros out there. We were last night at dinner, we were talking about, Rob Holland, rest in peace, Rob. But one of the best to ever do it. And it gives you a whole new respect for what those guys do and like the margin of error. Because it wasn't even like we were just, leveled off and we were just flying straight while you were taking photos. We were actually maneuvering the plane, and Mike Turner was kind of like following us, and we all had headsets on in the airplane. We were communicating with each other back and forth. It was a very cool experience.
Do you do that for different photo ops and angles to get the airplane at a different attitude?
I love shooting with him because he's flown formation with the Blue Angels. His last one was Fifi.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They did a shoot, and I don't have to really tell him anything. He knows. I hear him over the radio saying, "Hey, come in a little bit.
Yeah.
Eddie, is that good?" I'm like, maybe 5 feet lower or something, we give him. And it's just, every time I'm doing it, I have to pinch myself. It is so cool.
Yeah, I mean, we weren't flying with the Blue Angels that day, but it was.
You're definitely not Blue.
I wasn't flying at all.
Adam was in the back. You could see.
I was taking pictures. Yeah, I was a fan. I was a fanboy. But it was super professional. Everybody that was involved with that whole flight that day, and you guys were doing photo flights basically every day of the party, multiple times a day.
That's what we live for on that part.
That's what you guys do. That's why you're there. But everybody is super professional. There's a debrief at the beginning of the day. We're talking weather, we're talking traffic, we're talking, what's going on in the area. Here's some airports you can divert to if you need to, things like that.
So you've got to be in an airplane he was photographing. What got you into photographing airplanes? Where, we talked about skydiving. So tell where you decide one day that I'm going to go out and start taking pictures of airplanes.
Well, used to go to a lot of air shows, and I always had a camera with me, and I was trying to get the best picture. Didn't really know what I was doing.
On the ground at that time.
Yeah, on the ground now. At the time, I had a sister-in-law lived in Pensacola, so we got to go see the Blue Angels a lot and all that type of stuff. And I would, the early days, I was sneaking into it. Wasn't called the beach party at the time, but I kind of sneak in there and do some pictures, and it just kind of kept on from there.
I think that's a lot of our stories where we kind of fell in love with airplanes for the first time, is going to those air shows.
Oh yeah.
As a kid or maybe even as an adult. And when you get to see them all and you hear the noise and you feel the excitement. I've been doing that myself too. My whole life. I can remember as a kid growing up in Michigan, and we would have this amazing air show every year in my hometown, Battle Creek, Michigan. The Field of Flight Air Show still going on today, but they would alternate years. Or one year the Thunderbirds would come, and you'd have a lot of military, flight experience stuff going on, as well as hot air balloons. And then the next year the Blue Angels would come. And so as far back as I can remember, and every time I'm back in Michigan around 4th of July, I try to go to that show still today. I've seen that show, 30 times.
My mom, she took flying lessons. I barely remember any of it, but there's a picture I have. It's black and white, and her and the lady and myself was sitting under the wing, taking a break, and they're smoking their cigarettes, got their dresses on. Yeah. And so I can kind of remember some of that. And I just always was amazed that airplanes.
Did she ever get her privates?
No.
Class I said there would be a story. Mom flying and you jumping out of it.
Yeah.
Or the camera.
So you snuck into air shows.
Well, the beach party.
Okay. Well, all right. So at what point did someone approach you and say, do you want to start going in the airplanes and taking pictures for us? They seen your photos. I mean, was there one individual that said, hey, these are pretty good photos, and you've got a niche for this?
Well, I just went inside one day and I'm like, hey, who do I talk to about doing pictures? And that's when I met Jody.
At the Beach Heritage.
The Beach Heritage Museum.
Yeah.
Jody's great.
So I showed her some pictures. She says, yeah, we'd love to have you, So she got me signed in, and I just went out and walked all around taking pictures of planes taking off and landing and flying over, and sort of started talking to people. And so the next year I came and talking, I'm like, I love to do some pictures, and I forget who the first one, I think it was John Hess. He's got an AT-11, and we was flying to breakfast one morning, and I got to sit in the front in the bombardier seat and do pictures, and I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. I was hooked by that time.
Do you have you have a mentor that's kind of took you under the wing and showed you how to be better? Or
I don't know. I pay attention to the good photographers, but I've kind of like, I don't want to shoot like them. I take hints from what they do. I want to do my own stuff.
You're an artist.
And it's like, there's so many guys that's so much better at other things, like arranging the flights. I shoot by opportunity. It's like racing. You can't tell the racers what to do. And so that kind of leads in airplanes. I'm not, some guys, they sit there and they got make sure the planes are just right. I'm okay with just waiting for the moment, and gets up a little different. It's like editing. I cannot stand to edit. I do very little, and some guys spend hours and hours, and I look at it, may crop it a certain way, or whatever. But very, really.
That really brings up an interesting question for me, because we've all had family photos taken. You go out there and your photographer usually sets you up at an area
Terrible at it.
at a certain time of day with a certain lighting, and they know everything how it's going to be. It's very like structured. And we were talking a lot when we were up on that photo shoot that you and I were both up on this past fall, where, when you talk about trying to catch the right light in flight with the position of an airplane and cloud cover, it is very cloudy that day.
That's why
There's a lot of variables.
there was one run we didn't have light, so we'd turn in the other run down the lake. We would have again light, but it's
And that whole area there is absolutely beautiful, Middle Tennessee, and you've got in the fall, and we had a lot of colors going on, and there's a lot of like rivers that kind of snake through there. I have some of your photos up in my office at home, just because they look so amazing. And but to do what these guys do, where they go up and they actually take a moment that you can actually remember for the rest of your life, that is it's priceless.
it can be hard work at times if it's really choppy on the flight. You could be pushed down into the ground, or you could be flying up in the roof of the plane. And particularly as light as I am, I'm up and down, But last year we had really good flying weather. It's smooth.
Yeah, the flight, it was pretty smooth that day. It was the lighting, I think, was the main concern. But you guys,
The best
figured out, which best work. Oh yeah. You saw it happen, and I was in there, and I was freaking out a little bit, to be honest with you. But it was fun.
So you said you got some of his work in your office. Yeah. So, and you've been in quite a few magazines.
That's kind of like my trophy. It's pretty cool.
So you said you had a trophy. So what's your number one moment? Yeah. What's your best photo, and
I don't know. I'm my worst critic. I look at my pictures. I may take one. I'm like, golly, I love this picture. A week later, I'm like, why did I like that picture? I don't know.
So it's not like a magazine cover. Yeah, thing like, and nothing you can put your finger on. It's probably something that people maybe have never even seen before. Was like a moment for you.
Well, there's a motorcycle picture I did a couple years ago of a vintage motorcycle. I did it in black and white in slow shutter speed, and everybody loved that. So it's pretty cool. I don't know if they have that up where it will be on.
Yeah, we could probably throw that. The motorcycles, you say you like to be behind the scenes a lot. You told me a funny story once where you'll actually go out to tracks and kind of be like out in the weeds, where nobody can really see you, but you're getting like that right angle. It's probably like that for everything that you shoot. It's
everything I shoot. I've kind of got a plan of the day, like I'm going to do this and this and this. And every time I get there, that's out the door. Everything goes away, and I'm just kind of going with the flow, what feels right. I will, like at the sun's speed, I will get in the pits, get behind everyone, and do a slow shutter shot. And people, I get them lined up just the way I want them, and they'll notice me, and they'll start, sorry, and they'll move out the way. I'm like, no, get back,
So you rather catch them in a natural.
Well, without shoot it, you don't really see them. You just see a blur of something. It adds, put speed to it. Yeah.
And you're fixing to go down to Daytona here shortly and do that shot, right?
Sons of Speed is in New Smyrna, the 28th. I think that's the last day of the month.
Do you get out and do trackside photos too when they're racing?
That's what I do. Yeah, but I'm all over the track inside. I'll go outside of it and just whatever I can to capture the moments.
Okay. How'd you get into that?
I just love the motorcycles, and
but you're a rider, right?
I used to be. I started with mini bikes when I was a kid, and I did some motocross. Wasn't very good at it. Did some enduro, which I liked. Went to street bikes. I love riding long distances. I would leave from my home in Tennessee and go down to Key West, and just do long rides. And
It's a nice drive.
then all my health troubles that kind of ended all that.
So now you're just living vicariously through.
Yeah, I'd love to get another bike just to ride around, but, a little bit, but I'm just not able to, ride way a lot.
Sure.
So in your aircraft photography, mainly classic airplanes, or have you done some high performance stuff, business jets or stuff like that? Or
If I'm out, I'm at shooting skydivers all the time, if there's a jet taking off, I'll change gears and take a picture of it,
have you ever been up in the air doing?
Yeah, we shot the beach jet one year, and it was kind of hard to do, in the VTEL Bonanza. And so the beach jet's nose up, going slow as he can, and we're like going fast as we can. But it was a pretty cool moment. Just all the vintage planes, it's, the Stagger Wings, the Beach 18s, it's just really cool.
The Stagger Wings.
Starship, of course.
Have you shot some with Mirage and the Starships?
Yeah, we did several film.
Okay.
It says here too that you just recently went on a P-51 Mustang.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
My buddy Rodney Allison, I stopped by his hangar and we was talking. He said, well, I got to do a test flight on this, and I'm kind of like, be a good time for me to go. He said, well, I don't know. And I'm like, I don't care, I'll take the chance. And we went up, did spins and flips and all that. And I'm like, don't get sick. That's all. And I was loving it. And I did really good. And we was waiting for they was jumping that day. He kept track and they landed. So we was going to do a low pass.
You told me about this morning at breakfast.
So-
Go ahead.
so-
Adam needs to hear this.
So as we do the low pass, flying across the ground there, I look over to the side and wave at my buddies. And about the time I started going back, he just shoots straight up. That got me. And
That's what you're doing. Yeah.
everything got hot, and I'm kind of like, oh no. And he said, we'll do one more. And I'm like, no, Rodney, we're done.
Yeah.
So tell us what's coming up next. I know you're going to Daytona, and then you just mentioned in March you're going to shoot who? Mr.
The world famous Mr. Douglas. It's a DC-3.
Okay.
It's set in Tullahoma for 20 years, just rotting in the way there. And a group of guys got together and they've been working hard on it and got it ready to fly. So here coming up this March, it's going to happen finally.
First flight since restoration?
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to be up in Tullahoma? Are they flying it up there? Or?
Well, hopefully we'll get it there. But it's going to be in DeLand, Florida.
Okay.
And a lot of people's anxious to get on that. Old skydivers, bring back memories.
Oh, sure.
So I'm going to be on it and doing some pictures out of it.
You're shooting skydivers in this one. Are you planning to do some aerial photography of the plane? Yeah.
I probably will the next load, take pictures of it taking off or something. But
nothing in the air. You're not going to go down with the guy in the Bonanza and follow it around and take pictures of it.
Unless somebody's there willing to do it, I would love to do it. I'll be at the emergency window. I'll open it up and hang out it and shoot toward the door.
And how long has it been under restoration? Do you know?
Let's see, when did we start? It's been quite a while. It's been several years of hard work. Got it where they could ferry it back to the land, and they've been working on it daily.
Yeah. I know they should, just knowing what we do every day, I can imagine there's a lot of struggles with restoring an airplane.
McDonnell Douglas, he had it as a plane, and Baron Hilton actually got his multi-engine rating in that plane.
Wow.
Yeah, nice. And then there's books about undercover stuff going to South America, all that type of stuff.
Did they restore it back to like a airline livery? Or they just gutted for skydiving only?
Yeah, it's got seats in it, metal seats, like military.
Okay.
But
So the rest of its life's going to be a junk plane pretty much.
that's what it's been, for many years. If you've seen any of the movies like Drop Zone and stuff like that, you would see it in it.
I have seen that movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Very cool.
First time I saw it, I actually kind of shed a tear. I'm like, it was like a celebrity, you know?
Yeah. Have you ever shot or done any pictures of, we were talking at dinner last night. I'm an old Piedmont guy. I used to actually help do some tinkering work when they bring in the hangar on 44 Victor. So it's a DC-3 painted in the old Piedmont airline colors. And I think now it's parked at the museum in Charlotte at the airport down there. I don't know if you've ever shot that one.
I don't know if I have or not. And there's several that came through Tullahoma, you know, and I'm like, I'm trying to think of the names, you know, some's painted back to military colors and stuff. And so
photography. I wanted to ask you earlier too about did you ever strap a camera on your helmet or wherever, and when you were parachuting and take those pictures? Because I've seen pictures that people do that. Did you ever do that?
No, you know, it's funny. My first camera my mom and dad gave me, I think it was my 14th birthday. It's a Kodak Instamatic. Okay. So when I was skydiving, I really wasn't thinking about the photography part, but I would carry it up, and as people jumping, I would do snaps, and I would hide it in my jumpsuit and take pictures, though, after I open and stuff like that. But I just, when I was jumping, I was just concentrating on that.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, I can imagine.
But I'm friends with the top skydive photographers in the world, and it's just amazing at the work that they do.
So on everything that you've done, motorcycles, racing, airplanes, skydiving, what is something like it that's still a dream of yours that you'd like to do someday in the future? Like, I'm sure you have thousands of pictures. I mean, you could easily do an art gallery or a book or something like that. Do you have any kind of like dreams or aspirations to do something?
I've been thinking, you know, I know several guys that have done the books and stuff, and I'm thinking about trying to choose which pictures and what pictures, and I look at them, and even if I used to love them, I'm like, are they worthy to be in a book? You know, I don't know.
I mean, social media lets us kind of like live through the moment in real time. And I know you post stuff up all the time, and it's just always cool to kind of see people moving through their space and in the world and things like that. But, you know, when you've done it for so long and you've got so many cool experiences and stories and things, it's almost like you want to have something like a legacy that kind of lives on forever. Yeah. You know, and it just the things that I've seen from you and what we've talked about last couple of days, you know, I mean, you've got tons of things like that. People would love to see it.
Yeah. I've got several external hard drives just full of pictures, you know. I'm hoping when I'm gone, maybe they'll look through and find something they like, but hopefully they don't get destroyed. I've got a good printer, and I used to print a lot, but I need to get back to doing that.
So you mentioned legacy. So you've told us you got grandkids, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you said from what, 21 down?
20-something down to a year old, just 6 of them.
So what happens when those grandkids come up to Grandpa Eddie and said, I want to go jump out of an airplane?
Hey, you that's their parents. My kids,
they could sign the waiver.
My daughter gets on to me all the time. You didn't let me play sports because I was afraid she'd get hurt, you know. And other skydivers are like, yeah, I want my kid to do that, but I didn't. I just.
Did they ever ask?
Yeah, it's like motorcycles and stuff. I'm like, no.
Yeah. Yeah, try to shelter them as much as you can.
Here I am, like, leaving out on a long trip, you know. Yeah, I've heard it many times. Like, well, Dad.
The grandkids are all close to home, and you see them often, or are they spread out everywhere?
They're all right there at home.
Yeah. They're out in the Tullahoma area. Mm-hmm. Do they know you jumped out of airplanes?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they probably heard the stories. Yeah. Good. Yeah, it's, you know, we've come a long ways, and, you know, honestly, we've only really known each other for, you know, this year. Mm-hmm. is where we kind of got to know each other.
Feels longer now.
It feels longer. Yeah, we just became immediately good friends. And that's what I love about this business and just what we do and getting out and meeting people. There's so many interesting people out there and who have, unique stories and how they get there. That's the thing that always, I always want to dive into deeper is like, I get what you're doing today. I see it, but how did you get here? And, to hear just that whole projection of like where you started as a dental technician, who was afraid of heights. And then all of a sudden you find yourself being this guy that's like hanging out of airplanes with parachutes strapped on your back, taking pictures of skydivers. It doesn't check out on paper, but it's just, it's that time lapse of everybody's own unique story. I've got one, Rick's got one, we've all got one. And that's really, that's the thing that interests me about everybody that I meet.
Yeah. I know so many people, I've got so many friends and in motorsports and skydiving and aviation. There's just so many, and I see them, and it's like, it's embarrassing. I forget names, and it's like Rick here, I'm like, I recognize the face. I know we're good buddies. We've had lunch together and stuff. And it's like, what's this guy's name? But I've stopped worrying about it because there's hundreds in each realm of what I do.
Yeah.
So,
deep. And you obviously, you've been in this industry. People obviously know who you are and what you are. Do you do anything outside of Tullahoma for the Beechcraft Heritage Museum? Do you go to Sun and Fun? Do you do Oshkosh?
I want to do more of that. Time allows. If I'm not doing anything, it feels good to be home and not. But once again, if I'm home, I'm right there by the airport. I'm out with the skydivers or at the museum.
Yeah.
But
and you're there at the museum almost every day. So
yeah, I try to go by and check on things.
Do you help? Because I know they do a lot of restorations in the museum. Or you're getting hands on that? Do you help those guys with that any? Or
not really? I may help them move something, arrange something.
Have you ever took any photos of the restorations? Because I know they got some really rare Beechcraft aircraft in there. Have you documented that with your camera?
I've started doing a little bit. I'll go in to the different hangars and I'll get up under the planes, taking detailed pictures of different parts of the planes and stuff, and just hang out. And,
I think people would be shocked to know how many airplanes they actually have there at the Beach Heritage Museum. I've told you this. We were talking about this at dinner last night. We're going down to Middle Tennessee for the last 20 years. I've got family in the area. And it wasn't until this year that I actually went to that museum, and I didn't even know it was there.
Same here.
And but it is an absolutely amazing museum. Everybody should go out there at least once and check it out. And for the beach party too, especially if you're a pilot, it's a great event.
They just actually got awarded. I don't know the actual title, but the tourism award.
It is a great addition to a weekend trip down there, especially if you're into airplanes. It's super family friendly.
Oh yeah.
Lots of things for kids to do and see there. It's not just a hangar with a couple airplanes. It is very well put together.
Yeah.
A lot of history in here.
A lot of history. Yep.
I like walking down the hall in there with all the photos. I mean, Mrs. Beach had been there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my favorite thing I think in the museum, and I spent a lot of time there, was that stagger wing that they have that's got all the fabric off it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like
shows the word,
just the bones up.
We got a V-tail Bonanza that's same way. It's kind of, you can see how it operates.
They've got a lot of cutaway stuff in there, engines, great information, things like that. So yeah, the beach party. The dates on that again? It's always in October, right?
Through the 10th of October.
October 8th through the 10th, 2026.
You will never find. I've been to air shows. Yeah, you'll see a couple of stagger wings, but I don't know that you ever find as many classic Beechcraft aircraft in one location other than at the beach party.
You really want.
So yeah, if you're a old Beechcraft, you got to get there.
You got to get there. Yeah, you'll see it. There'll be a dozen stagger wings lined up there
You was talking Les Marsh. You ought to check out the AT-11 that he's restoring. It's next time you're there, I'll show it.
Is it there at the museum? Oh, okay. Yeah. I'd love to see it. Yeah, it is a fun time. And go for the weekend, a couple of days, whatever, bring your kids with you. It's that kind of an environment. And it's not a carnival or anything like that. It's just a really nice Tennessee, back porch experience where you could sit outside and, drink some iced tea and just watch airplanes.
Sit on the front porch of the one building there and watch some flying and probably some parachute.
And that's what they do.
Maybe see Eddie down there running around with his camera.
You will definitely see Eddie there. Yeah, he'll be busy.
In my little golf cart, just running. It's hectic. They're in the beach party trying to.
Oh yeah.
You see women sitting on the porch sewing, just reading a book or something during beach party.
Yeah, and the thing that struck me about that is it was because it was my first experience down there this past year. But just talking to people and asking them how long they've been coming to this event. People have been coming for decades.
Oh, yeah.
They've been coming for 20, 30 years. And talking with Charles a little bit while I was there too, I had an opportunity to sit down with him and chat. He was kind of telling me the history of it and how, that whole museum came to be. And I think it's just basically a nonprofit, right? For right there in the city of Tullahoma. But, the story behind it where it was like family property and a farm, and then they, kind of gifted it, I think, to the city or something like that. And how it just kind of morphed into what it is today. But he's very much out there every single day.
Oh yeah.
He's like, you will see him, you'll see Eddie out there, you'll see everybody out there. And
Jody and Sherry,
I'm hoping to go back this year.
It's my hard work for sure.
Yeah, the staff there is great. Great facility, great place.
Mm-hmm.
There's good old Southern hospitality with some cool classic airplanes.
Yeah, it is. Good.
Well, I think we've about kept Eddie a while, kept him occupied. We appreciate you being here.
I appreciate that.
Where can we find you on social media? Yeah. Where can people see your stuff?
Facebook, it's Eddie Rapid Photo.
Yeah.
And Instagram, it's at Eddie Rapid Photo.
Yeah.
Or you can just probably type in Eddie Phillips. It should show.
Photography.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it will definitely be posting up, links in our bio too as well, so people can come find you, and definitely check out Eddie's stuff. It's amazing. It's a lot of cool airplane photos, but it's a lot of other stuff too that it shows you why you're such a busy guy. You're out there and about every day.
Young.
It's keeping you young. Yeah. Yeah. It's great having you on.
Yeah. Well, thanks for taking time and sitting here with us. Appreciate all of our listeners pumping in and listening to us. Yeah. Keep up with us. Why don't you hit them up where they can find us out?
Yeah. Well, you can find us at, at Two Plane Guys on Instagram. Take a look. You can also find us on Spotify Music and YouTube. Check out the show. It's going to be great. We have a vast array of guests that come on the show, right? It's people all from different walks and backgrounds and things like that. But it's always interesting to hear people's story and how it relates to aviation and what we do.
Yeah, cool. And find us, subscribe to us, and catch us on the next episode.
Yep. Thanks for watching.